After he had been captured in Scotland and brought to London, William Wallace was arraigned at Westminster Hall before the judges. There he was accused of all manner of treasons and felonies against the King of England. He answered nothing, save that he was not subject to the King of England. Judgment was passed upon him. First, he was drawn on a hurdle from the Tower to Smithfield, the people crowding the streets and jeering. He bore the gaze with scorn unflinching. Then he was hanged by the neck, but cut down while yet living. The executioners opened his body and cast his entrails into the fire before his eyes. Though in agony, it is said he did not scream, only clenched his teeth until they shattered. His heart was torn out, still beating, and held up to the crowd with a cry, "Behold the heart of a traitor." His body was then quartered, his head set upon London Bridge, the quarters sent to Newcastle, Berwick, Stirling, and Perth. And thus died the man the Scots had called their guardian, and the English their most cruel foe.
The Earl of Lancaster, once the most powerful noble in the realm, was brought to the hill outside the town of Pontefract. He came not as a lord, but as a prisoner, surrounded by a great company of knights, guards, and common folk who had come to witness his end. He wore no finery, only a simple robe, his head uncovered in the chill March wind. Yet his bearing was calm, even proud, though he had not eaten nor slept well these past days. At the foot of the scaffold, he was not allowed a trial. Judgment had been declared in absentia by the King's Council. He knelt in the mud without complaint. The crowd was silent as the headsman approached. Some whispered prayers, others wept. For though the Earl had rebelled, he was also seen by many as a martyr who had stood against the King's favourites. A priest came and offered him the rites. The Earl said quietly, "I die for the love of my people and the laws of the land." Then he bowed his head. The axe fell once, twice, before the deed was done. His head was struck from his shoulders and held high by the executioner. Some say a light rain began to fall as his blood darkened the ground.
On the morn of St. Luke's Day, Mistress Margery Jourdemayne, lately taken from the Tower, was brought forth to be burned at Smithfield. A crowd had gathered before the hour of prime, for the talk of witchcraft had spread far. They said she had conjured spirits for great lords and ladies, and trafficked with devils in her home near Eye. She was clad in a simple shift, for her garments had been taken, and her hair was unbound, hanging loose and matted down her back. Though she had confessed under questioning, she did not wail or cry, but walked to the stake as if numb. Some among the crowd mocked her, calling her hag and hell-witch, but others looked on with pity, especially women who murmured prayers as she passed. The stake had been prepared with pitch and kindling. She was bound with iron chains about the waist and ankles. A priest read a prayer beside her and asked if she would repent. She looked up and said quietly, "God sees me." The fire was lit beneath her feet, smoke rose before the flames, and soon she was lost behind it. She did not scream loudly, only once, and then silence. The people watched until only ashes remained.
Upon the feast of St. Matthew, I made my way with others to Tyburn to witness the hanging of one John Brown, a known cutpurse and rogue who had been taken at St. Bartholomew's Fair with another man's coin purse in hand. The people gathered in great number, lining the road from Newgate to the gallows. Mothers brought children upon their shoulders. Ale sellers and piemen worked the crowd. All were in good cheer, for such events were a kind of grim entertainment. The cart came rolling slow, the condemned standing within it, hands bound before him, a rope already about his neck. He was but a young man, mayhap 25, with sunken cheeks and a haunted look in the eye. A priest rode beside him, speaking prayers aloud, yet the man looked out at the people instead, his lips moving with curses, not blessings. When they reached the gallows, the cart halted and the rope was fastened to the beam above. The sheriff's man asked if he had any last words. John Brown cried out, "I stole to eat, and you hang me. But those who steal kingdoms dine with kings." Then the horse was whipped, and the cart pulled away. The man dropped, kicking his legs and twisting. The crowd watched with morbid silence. A child near me wept, though others cheered. After some minutes, his limbs fell still. The hangman came with a knife and cut the body down. It was thrown into a cart for burial at the crossroads, as is custom. I returned to my shop, heavy-hearted. These sights are not easily forgotten.